What happens when two powerhouse vocalists with completely different perspectives on the music industry sit down for what should be a friendly chat, but instead unleash years of buried tension that nobody saw coming? Well, you're about to find out, because what went down between Adam Lambert and Kelly Clarkson on her daytime talk show left everyone in the studio speechless, and viewers at home picking their jaws up off the floor. Make sure to subscribe and drop a comment below, because this story will have you questioning everything. You thought you knew about these two stars. It started like any other interview on the Kelly Clarkson show. The audience was buzzing with excitement. The cameras were rolling, and Kelly had that signature warm smile plastered across her face as she prepared to welcome her guest. Adam Lambert walked out looking every bit the rock star he had become, his leather jacket catching the studio lights, his confidence radiating through the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incredibly talented Adam Lambert," Kelly announced, her voice carrying that familiar enthusiasm that had made her show so popular. Adam settled into the guest chair, flashing his trademark grin. "Thanks for having me, Kelly. Always a pleasure." "Well, the pleasure is all mine," Kelly replied, shuffling through her note cards. "I have to say, I'm such a fan of your work with Queen and everything you've been doing lately. You really know how to command a stage." "Well, I learned from the best," Adam said with a slight edge to his voice that only the most observant viewers might have caught. "Some of us had to work a little harder to get where we are. You know what I mean?" Kelly's smile faltered for just a fraction of a second. "I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?" Adam leaned back in his chair, his posture becoming more relaxed, but his tone growing more pointed. "I mean, some of us didn't have the luxury of winning a reality show and getting handed a record deal on a silver platter." The studio fell into an uncomfortable silence. Kelly's media training kicked in, and she tried to laugh it off. "Well, I mean, American Idol was hardly a silver platter. That was a lot of hard work, and the voters decided, right?" "The voters?" Adam repeated, his voice dripping with something that wasn't quite sarcasm, but wasn't friendly either. "Middle America, voting for the girl next door. Must have been nice to fit that mold so perfectly." Kelly's smile was starting to look strained. "Adam, I'm not sure where this is coming from, but I think maybe we should talk about your new music instead." "Oh, now you want to change the subject?" Adam's eyebrows raised. "That's interesting. Kelly, I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long time. Do you know how many interviews I've done where people compare me to you? Where they ask me why I couldn't win like you did?" "Adam, I never asked to be compared to anyone," Kelly said, her voice becoming firmer. "And I certainly never said anything about your season or your talent." "You didn't have to say anything," Adam shot back. "Your existence said it all." The wholesome, relatable winner versus the theatrical, over-the-top runner-up. The safe choice versus the risky one. Kelly set down her note cards and turned to face Adam directly. "Okay, I think we need to pump the brakes here. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but this isn't fair to either of us or to our fans." Adam let out a bitter laugh. "You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about how you've been positioned as America's sweetheart while artists like me have had to fight tooth and nail for every ounce of respect and recognition." The audience was shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Some were pulling out their phones, sensing that something unprecedented was happening. Kelly's producers were probably having heart attacks in the control room. "Adam, I have nothing but respect for your artistry and your talent," Kelly said, her voice now carrying a warning tone. "But I'm not going to sit here and be attacked for something I had no control over." "Control?" Adam's voice rose slightly. "You had plenty of control. You could have used your platform to lift up other artists who didn't look like you or sound like you. Instead, you played it safe, stayed in your lane, and collected your checks." Kelly's face was flushing red now. "That's not fair, and you know it. I've supported countless artists throughout my career. I've used my platform to promote diversity and inclusion. Have you, though?" Adam leaned forward. "Or have you just done the bare minimum to look good while benefiting from a system that was designed to favor people exactly like you? People like me." Kelly's voice was getting louder. "What exactly does that mean, Adam?" "You know exactly what it means," Adam replied coolly. "The pretty, non-threatening girl next door who sings just well enough to be impressive, but not so well that she intimidates anyone. The perfect package for mainstream consumption." Kelly stood up abruptly, her chair rolling backward. "I think we're done here. Are we? Adam remained seated, looking up at her with a smug expression. Because I think we're just getting started. This is the conversation that should have happened years ago. This isn't a conversation, Kelly said, her voice shaking slightly with anger. This is you ambushing me on my own show for reasons I don't understand. Adam finally stood up, matching her energy. Let me make it crystal clear for you then. Adam's eyes locked onto Kelly's, and for a moment, the entire studio seemed to hold its breath. The tension was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. You want crystal clear? Fine, Adam said, his voice dropping to a more dangerous tone. You represent everything that's wrong with this industry. The safe choice. The marketable choice. The choice that makes executives sleep well at night because they know exactly what box to put you in. Kelly's hands were trembling slightly, but her voice remained steady. I never asked to be put in any box, Adam. I've spent my entire career trying to break out of whatever limitations people put on me. Have you, though? Adam circled around his chair, never breaking eye contact. Because from where I'm sitting, you've been perfectly content to stay right where they put you. The daytime talk show host, the safe pop star, the girl who never rocks the boat. I've sold millions of albums, Kelly fired back. I've won Grammys. I've built a career that I'm proud of, without tearing other people down. Built on what foundation? Adam's voice was getting sharper. Built on a system that rewards conformity over artistry, vanilla over substance. You know what the difference between us is, Kelly? I've never pretended to be something I'm not. Kelly let out a harsh laugh. Oh, that's rich coming from you. The guy who spent years trying to convince everyone he was the next Freddie Mercury. The audience gasped. Adam's face darkened, and for the first time since this confrontation began, he looked genuinely hurt. Don't you dare, he said quietly, but his voice carried more venom than when he was shouting. Don't you dare diminish what I've accomplished with Queen. Brian May and Roger Taylor chose me. They saw something in me that apparently you can't. I never said you weren't talented. Kelly backpedaled slightly, perhaps realizing she had crossed a line. I just think this whole attack is unfair and frankly, beneath you. Beneath me. Adam's laugh was cold. You know what's beneath me? Sitting quietly while people like you get praised for mediocrity, while artists who actually push boundaries. Kelly's voice cracked with indignation. Are you serious right now? I've been nothing but professional and respectful to you, and you come on my show and call my work mediocre? If the shoe fits, Adam shrugged, but there was no casualness in his demeanor. Tell me, Kelly, when was the last time you took a real risk? When was the last time you did something that might actually offend someone or challenge the status quo? Kelly was pacing now, her professional composure completely shattered. I take risks every day. I put myself out there. I share my personal struggles. I try to connect with people. Connecting with people isn't the same as challenging them. It's not the same as making art that matters. You've turned yourself into a brand, Kelly. A safe, non-threatening brand that sells cereal commercials and feel-good moments. And what have you turned yourself into? Kelly whirled around to face him. Because from where I'm sitting, you look like someone who's bitter that the world didn't hand him everything he thought he deserved. The words hung in the air like a slap. Adam's jaw clenched, and several people in the audience actually gasped at Kelly's directness. There it is, Adam said slowly. There's the real Kelly Clarkson. Not the sweet, understanding host, but the person who thinks anyone who criticizes the system is just bitter and unsuccessful. That's not what I said, Kelly protested, but her voice lacked conviction. It's exactly what you said, Adam countered. And it's exactly the attitude that keeps this industry broken. Anyone who points out the problems must just be jealous or bitter or unsuccessful. It couldn't possibly be that they have legitimate concerns about how talent is valued and promoted. Kelly ran her hands through her hair, clearly struggling to regain control of the situation. Adam, I don't know what you want from me. I didn't create the music industry. I didn't make the rules, but you've benefited from them, Adam said relentlessly. You've profited from them. And instead of using your position to change things, you've just accepted them and made yourself comfortable. What exactly should I have done differently? Kelly demanded. Should I have turned down opportunities? Should I have sabotaged my own career to make some kind of point? You could have spoken up, Adam said simply. You could have used your voice for something other than singing safe pop songs and hosting safe talk shows. You could have acknowledged that maybe, just maybe, the system that rewarded you might have some flaws. Kelly stared at him for a long moment, and when she spoke again, her voice was quieter, but no less intense. You know what I think, Adam? I think you're projecting your own insecurities onto me because it's easier than admitting that maybe, just maybe, you didn't connect with audiences the way you thought you would. The studio fell silent, except for the hum of the cameras. Adam's face went through several emotions: surprise, hurt, and finally, cold fury. You want to make this personal? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Fine, let's make it personal. Adam stepped closer to Kelly, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper that somehow carried more weight than all his previous shouting. You want personal, Kelly? Let's talk about how you've built your entire career on being relatable to people who wouldn't. Give someone like me the time of day. Let's talk about how you've made millions playing the every woman, while actual artists struggle to get noticed. Kelly's eyes flashed with something dangerous. Someone like you? What exactly does that mean, Adam? Because I'm starting to think this isn't about music at all. Don't try to twist this, Adam warned. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The theatrical one, the different one, the one who doesn't fit into their neat little categories. Kelly's voice was rising again. Adam, you've made your entire career about being different and theatrical. You've built your brand on standing out. So don't stand there and act like being unique held you back when it's literally what made you famous. Adam's laugh was bitter and sharp. Famous? Is that what you call it? Being the runner-up, being the guy who's talented but not quite what America wanted. America didn't want you. Kelly threw her hands up. Adam, you have a massive fan base. You've toured the world with one of the greatest rock bands in history. You've had successful albums. How is that not what America wanted? Because I had to fight for every single piece of it. Adam's voice cracked slightly. While you got handed a record deal, a talk show, a perfect career trajectory, I had to prove myself over and over again. I had to be twice as good to get half the recognition. Kelly stared at him for a moment, and something in her expression shifted. When she spoke, her voice was steady but cold. You know what, Adam? You're right. I did get opportunities. I did benefit from certain advantages, but you know what else? I never used those advantages as an excuse to tear down other people. I never let my success make me bitter toward people who found their own path. Bitter. Adam's voice was incredulous. You think this is about bitterness? Yes, I do, Kelly said firmly. I think you're angry that your journey wasn't easier, and instead of channeling that into your art or into actually changing things, you're taking it out on me because I'm an easy target. An easy target. Adam stepped back as if she had slapped him. Kelly, you are the least easy target in this industry. You're protected by your image, your fan base, your entire wholesome brand, and you're protected by your victim narrative, Kelly shot back without hesitation. Poor Adam Lambert, too talented for mainstream success, too artistic for the masses to understand. It's a great story, but it's not the whole truth. The audience was completely silent now, riveted by the raw honesty of what they were witnessing. Even the camera operators seemed frozen, afraid to miss a single moment. Victim narrative. Adam's voice was dangerously quiet. You think facing discrimination and having to work twice as hard is a victim narrative? I think using those real struggles as ammunition to attack people who didn't cause them is a victim narrative, Kelly replied, her own voice matching his intensity. I think coming on my show and ambushing me with years of resentment that have nothing to do with me personally is a victim narrative. Adam stared at her, his chest rising and falling rapidly. You really don't get it, do you? No, Adam, I don't think you get it, Kelly said, stepping closer to him. You think I owe you something. You think I should apologize for my success or diminish my achievements to make you feel better about yours. But I won't do that. I've worked too hard and sacrificed too much to let anyone, even someone as talented as you, make me feel guilty for the career I've built. I never asked you to apologize, Adam said, but his voice lacked its earlier conviction. Then what did you ask me to do? Kelly demanded. What was the point of all this? What did you hope to accomplish by coming here and attacking me? Adam opened his mouth to respond, then closed it. For the first time since the confrontation began, he seemed at a loss for words. That's what I thought, Kelly said quietly. You don't actually want anything from me, Adam. You just wanted someone to blame, someone to be angry at, and I was convenient. That's not, Adam started, but Kelly held up her hand. No, I'm talking now, she said, her voice carrying an authority that commanded the room. I've listened to everything you had to say. I've let you attack my career, my choices, my entire life's work. Now you're going to listen to me. Adam's jaw tightened, but he remained silent. I'm sorry you faced challenges I didn't have to face, Kelly continued. I'm sorry the industry isn't always fair or equitable. I'm sorry that talent doesn't always translate to the success people deserve. But I will not apologize for my success, and I will not be your scapegoat for systemic problems that are bigger than both of us. She paused, her eyes never leaving his face, and most importantly, I will not let you or anyone else diminish what I've accomplished or question whether I deserve to be where I am. Because whether you want to admit it or not, I've earned my place in this industry just as much as you've earned yours. Adam stood there for a long moment, his hands clenched at his sides. The studio was so quiet, you could hear the air conditioning humming. Finally, he spoke, his voice barely audible. You're right, Kelly blinked, clearly not expecting that response. You're right, Adam repeated, louder this time. This isn't about you. It never was about you. And I'm sorry, but before Kelly could respond, before anyone in the studio could process what had just happened, Adam turned and walked toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the silent studio as he moved past the cameras, past the stunned audience, past the shocked production crew. Adam, wait! Kelly called after him, but he didn't stop. He paused at the studio doors, his hand on the handle, and turned back one final time. For what it's worth, Kelly, he said, his voice carrying across the studio, you're right about something else too. I am bitter, and that's on me, not you. With that, Adam Lambert walked out of the studio, leaving behind a room full of people who had just witnessed something unprecedented in daytime television history. Kelly stood alone in the middle of her stage, looking shell-shocked and emotionally drained as the gravity of what had just transpired began to sink in. What did you think of this intense confrontation? Do you believe Adam's frustrations were justified, or did he cross the line by attacking Kelly? Drop a comment below with your thoughts and make sure to subscribe for more explosive celebrity stories that you won't see anywhere else.